politically and other ways. Now, remember in the text that I just read, it said here magnetic disturbances, which was the official region. Admiral Byrd reported on these openings in the 1920s until his information was concealed by the government. Okay. Now the question is, who is Admiral Byrd? What did he find out? And why was this information concealed by the government? All right. This is where we get into out of the realm of conjecture and mythology to the realm of modern history. We find this admiral was a real person called Richard E. Byrd. He was an American naval officer, which was pioneering, and also a pioneering American aviator, polar explorer, and organizer of polar logistics. Aircraft flights in which he served as a navigator and expedition leader crossed the Atlantic Ocean, a segment of the Arctic Ocean, and a segment of the Antarctic Plateau. He was also known for discovering Mount Sidley, the largest dormant volcano in Antarctica. Okay, so he actually flew over the North Pole and the South Pole. I found out about this many years ago, and I actually saw that this was actually real. And the crazy thing was, after he flew over Antarctica, he came back, and then the US military said, we want you to be our leader to take the military to Antarctica. This is after the Second World War, right? And now you got to ask yourself, why would the military want to go to Antarctica after the war is finished? That is an interesting question. And this brings us to a thing called Operation High Jump, where the United States Navy Antarctic Development Program in 1946, the very year after the war finished, and it was a US Navy operation to establish the Antarctic Research Base, research in quotations, mind you, base, Little America, the fourth. The operation was organized by Rear Admiral Byrd, and he was the commanding officer. So they say the official reasons was training personnel, testing equipment in cold conditions, consolidating the US's sovereignty over the largest practical area in the Antarctic continent. So they basically wanted to claim some land, feasibility for using the Antarctica for, I guess, military bases, developing techniques for utilizing air bases on ice, amplifying existing stores of knowledge of electromagnetic, geological, and geographic, hydrographic, and meteorological propagation conditions in the area. But yeah, a lot of that is actually half-truths. What we found out through these people called Farsight, the Farsight Institute, they are a group of remote viewers that can basically use meditative techniques to investigate past events and find out the truth about them. They looked into Operation High Jump, and what did they find? Let's find out. Between August 26, 1946 and late February 1947, approximately 1 year after Germany surrendered at the close of World War II, Rear Admiral Richard Byrd led an expedition to Antarctica called Operation High Jump. Now, at that time, the United States had spent a lot of money on World War II. The end of the war would normally be considered a time to close down military activities, consolidate gains, save cash, and so on. But this expedition to Antarctica involved tremendous resources. Those resources were called Task Force 68, and it involved 13 ships, 33 aircraft, and nearly 5,000 men. And that included destroyers, a submarine, an aircraft carrier, icebreakers, a tanker, supply ships, the works. Now, the stated reason for the task force to Antarctica was to gather data, to explore, and to see if it was possible to design air bases that in a cold location and that type of thing. Sort of a National Geographic on steroids. But you don't need 13 military ships, 33 aircraft, and nearly 5,000 military personnel to do that, especially for an inhospitable location that you don't know much about. Perhaps one can envision one or two ships and a couple of aircraft to check out the scene, but an entire armada armed to the teeth doesn't seem to match the stated goals of the expedition. Admiral Byrd's expedition to Antarctica just doesn't seem to make sense if there was no urgent military reason to go there at the time. Indeed, you simply do not need that type of very expensive military force into a dangerous area like Antarctica unless you have solid intelligence suggesting that there is a clear and urgent need to do so. It just would not happen otherwise, it just wouldn't. In this remote viewing, they show you data that will explain this unsolved mystery. Basically, I've seen this, and a summation would be that during World War II, it is told that the Germans, through these psychics in their secret societies, people like Helena Blavatsky, similar to her, some of the psychics in the Thule and the Vril societies, they were able to contact ETs, extraterrestrials, aliens. And they, through those contacts, they were able to develop higher technology, including what we today call UFOs, okay? The US military called them Foo Fighters back then. And basically, secretly, they developed a military base underneath the ice cap of Antarctica. And the US military had intelligence saying that. So they sent an expedition, which was Admiral Byrd flying over the pole. And if you read his books or his accounts of what he saw, he tells of a story where he flew into the earth. There was an opening in Antarctica that he could fly his plane into, and he saw civilization underneath the earth there. Okay. Now, this story was sort of covered up and like hidden and changed over time. But the fact of the matter is, he took this expedition force back to Antarctica, like it said, armed to the teeth. And what these people found out is that the Germans basically attacked them, and they were supported by these reptilian-looking ETs. The US came with World War II level technology, and the Germans came with space age technology. And basically, the US got their asses handed to them. They got beaten in a straight fight, and they ran back to the United States with their tails between their legs. Okay. Now, what?
A multi-leveled cavern system under the southwest slopes of the Himalayas where the Nagas dwell is another underground system, thriving underground cities. Now, these caverns are a part of the alleged entrances to the kingdom of Agartha. Agartha has been connected to reptilians and also humans as well as other species. So here are the alleged entrances to the kingdom of Agartha. One is Kentucky's Mammoth Cave. Two is Mount Shasta in California, which is the city of Telos. And then three is Manaus in Brazil. The fourth one is Mato Grosso in Brazil, and that would be the city of Posid. Iguazu Falls, in Posid, Iguazu Falls. Now, the fifth one would be Mount Epimeo in Italy. And then six, of course, is the Himalayan mountains in Tibet. City of Shanxi, supposedly guarded by Hindu monks. Now, there's also the city of Bogavati, which is in Tibet as well, in the Himalayan mountains. Now, the seventh one entrance is Mongolia, and that would be the city of Xinghua. And the eighth would be Rama in India, and I believe they say that the underground caverns in India, or Rama, are the same as the name of the city above, which is Rama. Now, they also say that another entranceway, the ninth one, would be the Pyramid of Giza in Egypt. And the 10th one is King Solomon's Mine. The 11th one is the North and the South Poles. And the 12th, Wells of Sheshna, Benares, India. The city of Patala. That's what that one is in India. As 40 steps, now this city of Patala has 40 steps which descend into a circular depression to terminate at a closed stone door, which is covered in a bas relief of cobras. Now, here serpent cults of human and reptilians collaborators dwell, which is said to have once had contact with the Nazis through the Thule Society during the Second World War. So this brings us to the Naga. The Naga wage war on the kingdom of Agartha. They are a very advanced race of species with highly developed technology. The Naga harbor a disdain for human beings whom they are said to abduct, torture, interbreed, and even eat. Okay, so we have the Naga right there. Now we come to the city of Patala, right there. And these are the, I believe, the city of 40, which hold up. Okay, so we have the city of Patala, and we have the city of Bravati, and then we have Patala, the Indian religion, which also mentions Shiva and the Lingam, and also the Vasuka. Now Vasuka is the Naga king, and he's coiled around the neck of Shiva and worn as an ornament. Okay, so that's one thing that also needs to be discussed, is Vasuka and his connection with Shiva. And then we go to Shisha, which is Naga king in the bed on which Vishnu rests, and it is the elder brother of Vasuka. So Vasuka is a Naga king coiled around the neck of Shiva and worn as an ornament, where Shisha is a Naga king in the bed on which Vishnu rests. So I find that pretty interesting. And he's also the elder brother of Vasuka. It is said long ago an Asian prince led militant followers of warrior monks into the cave. This supposedly resulted in a conflict with the serpent cult,